speech for winning the month of July. At the end of the day, it's always very interesting. Blaine, before I just rip the NFL apart and we get Barrett Sallee in here.
Yeah.
What can you give people, like, what is the essence of your speech going to be? Is there like a overlying theme?
I'm giving it back.
I'm
giving it to the people. I'm giving it back to the Booster
What does that
Club.
mean exactly?
No one really knows. No one really knows what it means, and that is what makes it great.
Okay.
You know, it gets the people going, I didn't win this. I didn't win the month. The Booster Club.
It's for the people. Yeah.
It's for the people.
Did you write your speech or are you just going to wing it?
I wrote it in my mind.
Yeah, like your script for your movie.
Yeah, it's all, look, I have the mind of an elephant.
What does that mean? You don't know what that
Something
means.
My memory's really good.
It's very small compared to your body size. Is that what you're trying to say?
Don't talk to a man with a mustache like that.
Thank you,
That's
David.
true.
Strike
That's
one.
true. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will serve a 6-game suspension for the season. Barrett Sallee from CBS Sports joins us to talk some college foosball. And Celtics legend Bill Russell passes away at 88. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. That Deshaun Watson will serve a 6-game suspension after he has settled with all but one of the women who claimed sexual misconduct by the droves. And it leads me to conclude that the NFL punishment system is absolutely and unequivocally broken. And the crazy part is, either way you look at this, the suspension makes no sense at 6 games. On one hand, Calvin Ridley got a full-year suspension for betting on his own team to win, and DeAndre Hopkins got the same suspension as Watson for a trace amount of performance-enhancing substance found in his system. Now, Sue Robinson, the retired judge who's kind of in the middle of all this, called Watson's conduct the most egregious ever reviewed by the NFL. Now, as I said, Deshaun Watson did settle outside of court, and I get there are no charges as of yet, but you decided to suspend him anyway. So there has to be something that is lost in translation here. Because if you are going to suspend him, then release what you found. Because if there is actually nothing and you suspended him, that's probably even worse. But for a league that continues to portray itself as the champions of morality and rights, how can they continually get this so wrong? They were going to suspend Ray Rice 2 games for having a UFC fight against a woman in an elevator until the video leaked. And we have multiple instances of the NFL claiming to stand for something, but not backing it up when it comes down to brass tacks. Now, Roger Goodell has a chance to appeal this, but I'd be surprised if he does. And anybody that blames the NFLPA shouldn't, because that's like blaming a defense attorney for doing their job. So from now on, I don't want to hear a damn word from the NFL about morality or rights of women or any of the other BS propaganda that they truly don't practice. Because again, they show you they are the best example of do as I say, not as I do. If you can explain to me, David Cohn, my co-host, and Daniel Day-Lewis from There Will Be Blood, if you can explain to me how if this was the most egregious thing the NFL's ever reviewed, and you watched Ray Rice beat a chick to sleep, basically, and drag her out of an elevator, and you give Deshaun Watson 6 games, they gave Josh Gordon, they basically kicked him out of the league for smoking weed. Like, at some point, the NFL, and they'll have all their commercials about, oh, we treat everybody equal, and all this, and we're the champions of rights and morality. Yet when it comes down to it, they're not about it. It's a joke. It's a joke to me, David.
Hey, this is the old Michael Scott win-win-win as far as the NFL is concerned. I mean, think about it like this. You get a star player back on the field this season, right? There's no retaliation or ruffled feathers as it relates to the NFLPA. And Roger Goodell gets to white glove this situation and say, hey, I wanted a full year. I wanted a full season plus $8 million fine. Don't blame me. Blame the disciplinary officer who also at the same time happens to be a female. So if the NFL had a reputation for getting these rulings right, I would look at it and say, okay, well, I'm sure they did their due diligence. Maybe they know information we don't know. And, 6 games when he hasn't been convicted of anything and he's not even going to be tried criminally, okay. But because the NFL has gotten so many of these wrongs, I'm looking at it as like, don't expect principled rulings to come down from unprincipled people.
I think that's the best way to put it. Again, you said that he violated the conduct policy. Sue Robinson said it's think about this, the most egregious thing the NFL has ever reviewed. So if the most egregious thing only gets you 6 games, what does murder get you? A year?
Well, I mean, you can almost ask Ray Lewis that. He killed a guy, basically, and got away with it. Well, allegedly.
Yeah.
Throw that allegedly.
Yeah, I do. Well, you go back. This just doesn't make sense to me. And you go back. You mentioned Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon did have some other things going on, but he got suspended 25-plus games for weed. Martavius Bryant got suspended indefinitely for weed. A receiver from Pittsburgh. Plaxico Burress got suspended 3 games for shooting himself. Vincent Jackson got suspended 3 games for driving without a license. And I go back to, if you're really going to comp this, there's only really one way you can. Ben Roethlisberger, all right, had 1 accuser, all right, in 1 night and got 6 games. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then you go back, this guy had over 60 different masseuses in 17 months. If you have to put in a contract clause that you can only use masseuses from the Browns, you probably should have got more than 6 games. That's like saying you can't be 200 feet close to a playground.
Yeah.
There's a problem here, and it's a joke because there's no consistency in this at all. And if this would have been different, if this would have been a different quarterback, I think this would have gone a lot differently, especially in the public.
If it was Baker Mayfield or Kirk Cousins or somebody looked a certain way, it'd have been a year. I would be willing to bet you everything it would have been a year. But again, the NFL picks and chooses who to punish. A lot of times not even based on evidence, based on the way that they look. But you know what? I wouldn't have as much a problem with it, David, if the NFL came out and said, you know what? We looked into all this, and there really wasn't a there. We think that 24, those women made it up and then piled on each other to get at Deshaun and all this. If they'd have said that and said, but then they'd have had to say, well, we're not suspending them a game. Because you can't sit there and say, oh, well, they didn't criminally charge them or they settled, so we're just going to give them 6 games. There's obviously something there. I don't think Sue Robinson comes out and says that just to say it.
That's such a good point, because there's a way that this could have been handled where the ruling was he gets suspended for 0 games, but if it's done through the prism of leadership and Roger Goodell comes out and says, this is what we found, this is what we didn't find, this doesn't break the code of conduct, X, Y, and Z, similar to what Dana White probably would have come and done, stood at the podium and convinced us all that this is the right decision. And again, like I said, if you have the track record to go along with it, then I completely agree with your point. I feel like I have to bring up one more name while we're talking about this, though, and that's Patriots owner Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
I mean, he got in trouble for a very similar situation here. I mean, can you imagine if we had something where Robert Kraft can't own the Patriots for 6 games? How does that work out? But I mean, again, no punishment there. So I don't know.
It's just, again, there's just no consistency, and it drives me absolutely nuts. And again, and I'm going to ask Barrett about it off the top, but if the league didn't act as the most virtue signaling morality police and that, we're behind all these causes, if they didn't just go out and do that, I wouldn't feel as much. But again, nothing angers me more than people saying, I'm on my high horse and we do this and we defend that and you're all racist and you're terrible people and you're a womanizer. But after we reviewed the most egregious thing we've ever seen in the NFL, you get 6 games. And if I'm the Browns, I wouldn't be mad at the Browns. And you cannot convince me that the Browns did not know this was going to happen. You don't give somebody a contract like that unless you knew this was going to happen. The NFLPA doesn't come out and say, you know what, regardless of the ruling, guys, we're going to go with it.
That's when you knew something was up. That's when you knew.
If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, it's an Aflac commercial. But speaking of that, let's bring in CBS Sports HQ, good friend of ours, Barrett Sallee. Barrett, great to see you last weekend, my friend. Thanks for hopping on, dude. You're like the Hydra of CBS Sports HQ guys we've had on the last couple weeks.
Well, I'm glad a lot of our guys are coming on Crane and Company. And I'm very honored to be following an Aflac duck reference. As a fan of all the Aflac SEC commercials, I really do appreciate it.
Without a doubt. And you don't duck nothing, Barrett. So let's start with the Deshaun Watson stuff. Your just overall thoughts on the 6-game suspension, because again, I'm trying to Doctor Strange, Rain Man, the numbers, figure out how this makes sense. But again, I'm not Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting, so I just don't know.
Yeah, I tried to be Zach Galifianakis from the craps table, the blackjack table at in a Hangover. I don't understand it either. I think you can compare it to a bunch of different things. And look, I'm not all about whataboutism. There are a bunch of different punishments that you could harken back to and say they're similar. And look, we don't know all the facts, but I mean, let's be honest. This is like the most egregious case of potential sexual violence we've seen at the NFL for a long time. But I think what you said, Jake, just a second ago is really important, because you can't connect the dots of the Browns giving him that contract with the fact that they didn't know this would happen.
100%.
If they thought he was going to be suspended for a year or a year and a half or 2 years, that contract makes no sense. And I would say it doesn't make any sense right now because he's rusty. And just from a pure football perspective, we don't know what he's going to be after that extended break. But for that to happen and then he only gets suspended 6 games, it makes you scratch your head. And judging from my hairline, I've scratched mine quite a bit lately.
Well, again, mine's turning grayer by the second. I'm gonna end up being Gandalf here in about 6 months. But no, it does. It's tough to put the dots together, especially when you don't have all the information and you have one people saying it's this extreme and then others saying, oh, well, they settled out of court. It's just a mess. There needs to be some consistency, like a good batch of biscuits. But Barrett, I do want to ask you, moving to the college game. Now, everybody's going to be talking about Alabama. We talked about Alabama when we saw you last week, and I'm going back through some of Saban's best teams. And when I look at this roster, and I know Latu, you hate it for him, Cameron, is going to be out probably till week 6, it's looking like, with a meniscus problem. But, Alabama, again, has a ton of talent. But when you look at this team, with what they return, with Bryce Young at the most important position on offense at quarterback, Will Anderson, the leader of that defense, could this be one of Nick Saban's best teams?
No, I don't think so, because it's not a complete team right now. And granted, that's a different bar than every other team in college football. But yes, they do have the 2 best players in college football, and I will die on the hill that Will Anderson was the best last year and is the best this year. But what have we seen from their offensive line to suggest it's going to be any different? I'm not the biggest spring game takeaway guy, but last spring, the offensive line was a disaster. In the fall, it was beyond a disaster. The current spring game, the one from April, it was a disaster as well. That's a trend. And it's a trend for a team in Alabama that's usually one of their strengths, if not the biggest strength of that team. So, I think from a talent perspective, from a potential perspective, it could be. I mean, look, you're talking about comparing $50 steaks to each other, right? Like, you're not going to go wrong with whatever one you order. But the fact that they have a glaring weakness that has been consistent over a year and a half, that part of the equation and that part of the answer does surprise me, because I just don't think that right now you can trust that offensive line, especially considering Evan Neal is gone.
Yeah, and Evan Neal was unreal. Blaine, let's get the Booster Club hot to ask Barrett a couple questions. I do think last year, that's what, to me, Barrett, made the SEC championship win for Alabama such a special performance, because that offensive line not only punched above their weight, but punched way above their weight against that front 7. I mean, Georgia stopped rushing about halfway through the third quarter. I mean, Dan was trying to go through everything to get them there. But when you look at some of the new hires, coming in from the offseason, you look at Billy, Brian Kelly, all these guys just around college football. What do you think up to this point, including Mario at Miami, what was the best offseason hire at head coach that you saw in college football this past offseason?
It's Lincoln Riley at USC. And think about this. Had we seen Brian Kelly go from Notre Dame to LSU in any other offseason, it would be like the college football world stopped spinning. But it came in an offseason where Lincoln Riley went to USC. So, we've seen LSU be great with Ed Orgeron as its head coach. That's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Florida really wasn't that much of a disaster under Ron Zook. Now, people like to joke about it, but he followed Steve Spurrier. I mean, what do you expect a guy to do? Be Steve Spurrier? That's a little unrealistic. But you're talking about now a program at USC that has been at the top, consistently been at the top, been a dynasty, and yet has been taken off the rails by Steve Sarkisian and then subsequently Clay Helton. I won't throw Lane Kiffin into that because he was dealt a really bad hand, and I think he gets unfairly criticized for what happened at USC. But now you have Lincoln Riley, a guy who knows how to market, a young guy in an NIL world where he can market his players to make a ton of money and recruit the hell out of Southern California. To me, USC within 2 years, is going to be a Pac-12 champion, and I think in the college football playoff contention, maybe even this year if they can get by Utah. But I'm claiming Utah as my adopted team, so I have to kind of stick with that until they prove me wrong. But, I mean, USC at Lincoln Riley, they're going to win a national championship there.
Really? I feel that strongly about Mario and Miami. I think just from a natural, wholesome fit, Mario Cristobal, not just because he played there, not just because he understands it, just kind of his style in Miami. A little bit more that, Brian Kelly going to LSU, the accountability, the organization, the structure. Lincoln, if they get a defense, Barrett, I'll believe it with you. If they can get a defense.
Hell, they just need an offensive line. Honestly, need an offensive line.
But Barrett, they had an offensive line at Oklahoma. I mean, the problem for Oklahoma wasn't scoring points. I mean, even when they had Baker Mayfield and those guys running around, and then you look at Kyler and those guys running around, it's never been offensively. It's been that defensive step, which you know as well as I do, if they can keep some of those defensive linemen and offensive linemen from California to stay home, that's what Pete Carroll did. Because you know as well as I do, there's been a mass exodus from California to Florida, and it's not just because of Gavin Newsom. But go ahead, Coney.
Well, go ahead, Barrett.
Go ahead, Barrett. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, at Oklahoma, the defense did get better under Alex Grinch. The problem was Spencer Rattler happened at the same time. And so you kind of had the pendulum swing in the wrong direction enough to sort of prevent them from doing what they did before, and that's even contend in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Well, college football is certainly better when Miami and USC are both great. Yeah. But I want to get your opinion on two marquee matchups, both on September 3rd. The Fighting Irish play the Buckeyes at the Horseshoe. Now, the Buckeyes are going to be lethal on offense, and I expect them to be better on defense this year than they were last season. But as for Notre Dame, I mean, clearly Marcus Freeman has brought a level of energy that wasn't there under Brian Kelly. What do you think the realistic expectation should be for Notre Dame fans on September 3rd when they go to the Horseshoe?
Honestly, I think it's just contention, being in the game midway through the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter. I mean, look, Marcus Freeman, the energy around that program, talking to some coaches around college football, the energy has been renewed. It didn't necessarily get stale under Brian Kelly. It just kind of got, repetitive, I guess, for lack of a better term. The way he's recruiting, the style he brings has really resonated well. But I think there's still, when you look at what Ohio State brings to the table, it's just, I think, the national championship favorite at this point. So, yeah, I mean, it is a great game. It's a great test for Marcus Freeman. But when you, and I agree with you, Connie, the defense is going to be solid. But when you're going up against Travion Henderson, C.J. Stroud, a better offensive line, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is the best wide receiver of a wide receiver room that is like 10 deep, I don't know how you stop that. And offense does drive the bus in college football, as you know, and it's only getting, more in that direction. So I just think if they're relevant, if they give Ohio State a test, if they can at least keep it competitive into the fourth quarter, that's a strong starting point. And think about this. That wouldn't eliminate them from the playoff either. No. A one loss to an Ohio State team, if you're on the table, you're still sitting pretty, especially since you don't have one opportunity to lose on the first weekend in December. So I still think Notre Dame will be fine. I think the 10-win mark is where they should be. That should be the expectation every single year. And Ohio State's going to be a big test for Freeman. There's no doubt.
I agree, but I do think it'll be harder and harder for Notre Dame to find their way into the playoff with a loss if they're not going to join a conference. But I want to ask the same question for the Georgia-Oregon matchup. Dan Lanning goes from Georgia over to Oregon. They get transfer Auburn quarterback Bo Nix. Obviously, Georgia national champions last season, but they lost a lot due to the NFL draft. What do you think realistic expectations should be for Oregon fans in that game?
Don't get blown out of the building. I mean, it's right now. I mean, the idea that Bo Nix is suddenly going to contend with Georgia and threaten a Georgia team at
he's
Oregon
focused.
when
he's having fun, Barrett.
He's a Heisman dark horse. I mean, look, like Jake, y'all know. I mean, Auburn. I follow Auburn as much as you guys do. It's been around. It's been around my blood forever, for generations. Bo Nix was just okay with a talented team. When you're just okay with Tank freaking Bigsby, you've got issues. And at Oregon, I just don't see it. Dan Lanning, I think, will be a good coach. First game out, I don't see it. I think Georgia, it's interesting that people are sort of falling off the Georgia bandwagon because they just think that 5 defensive starters in the first round is something that Georgia can't overcome. Have you seen the classes that they put together? You just basically clone the same guy.
That's exactly
right. And if people don't think, if Jalen Carter, I'd say, was just as good as Jordan Davis last year in the middle of that defensive line. Nolan Smith, I know Nakobe Dean was great. Nolan Smith was no slouch either, and the secondary is just fine. Keely Ringo, for being the guy that had the pick six to ice the national championship game, he actually has done more than that. Like, he did appear in other games, and he also played like a first-round pick in those games. So I just think for Oregon to hang in that game would be a minor miracle. And look, you guys know this about me. Stetson Bennett does not get any credit. Like, it's like this narrative is stuck in Stetson Bennett that he's this. It's like, dude, he's not a walk-on anymore. He actually has a scholarship. Him finishing third in the nation in yards per attempt is something that actually did happen last year.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, he's got a natty. I mean, I just don't understand the criticism.
Yeah, he brought his team back on basically a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter, when you had to have it. People don't realize
Not good enough.
The dude didn't take snaps in the offseason last year. They're like, well, Stetson, like, he wasn't even taking snaps, and he leads him to the natty. I was on a Georgia show earlier today with our buddy, the DGD podcast over there, and I'm just like, dude, like, y'all realize Stetson Bennett's going to be the greatest Georgia quarterback of all time when he leaves? Not Matt Stafford, not Aaron Murray, not any of these guys. Look, it's the mailman. You don't know he's there until the mail slipped in the door and you lost.
Yeah, I love Stetson Bennett.
Okay.
Huge talent. Georgia's lucky to have him. But hey, let's talk a little Pac-12 talk, Barrett. All right, I don't think they've been there since 2016 in the playoffs, and that was Washington.
Ew.
Okay? Could you see a Pac-12 team ending the drought and making the playoffs?
Put him on the spot. We know who you're going with, Barrett.
Well, hey, you know what, Daniel Day-Lewis? I absolutely think they can. Like, look, here's the thing with the Pac-12. Everyone criticizes the Pac-12. Look, I get it. It a lot of times cannibalizes itself. I have adopted, if you listen to SiriusXM on College Sports Sunday, we went through our teams that we're adopting, and I have adopted the Utah Utes. They're my baby, and if they fail, I will completely abandon them like this segment didn't even exist. But when you can run the football like they can, yeah, right. Cam Rising is a legit star. But here's the thing with Utah, and really with any Pac-12 team, you have to worry about like margin for error, right? Mm-hmm. They go to Florida in week 1. San Diego State's a really good team that's probably going to win 10 games this year. They do that in week 3. Utah is a team that can probably suffer a Pac-12 loss and win the championship and get into the playoff. I think we forget, like, teams like LSU and Georgia had the luxury of losing SEC championship games and still getting in. Those situations are the exception. They're not the rule. So if Utah has a good strength of schedule, wins the Pac-12, even with one Pac-12 loss, generally speaking, and I hate this, but it's reality, the committee is going to, give them the benefit of the doubt with a championship under their belt, even if it is a Pac-12 championship. But it's even still, is there a better coach team in the country outside of Utah? Okay, you can maybe say of non-Big Four teams. Yeah. Wake Forest, Utah. That's kind of where the list ends.
Yeah. Well, I've got them losing to Florida and then not losing a game until the postseason starts. I think Utah is really sneaky to watch. And if you're going to lose one, obviously it's out of conference. Losing early on the road to an SEC team, even though I know Florida's roster is down, isn't a bad look. But I do got to say, I kind of had something that hit me this morning. The Pac-12 commissioner during the media days, did he not kind of sound like the guy who's playing the violin on the Titanic as it sinks?
A little bit.
Like, he knows he's not leaving. Like, he's like, guys, listen, we're just going to play music, and this thing's going to sink in the freezing water, but nobody panic or freak out. What's the Booster Club saying? Speaking of freaking out.
Okay, yeah, we got a question here from Jay Cheney. He really wants to know. He asked it 3 times. Barrett, let's be honest here. All right, I want you to reach deep down your soul. What do you think of the stash?
Dude, I mean, I like it. Generally speaking, like, ironic mustaches, I'm not a favor of. Like, I make fun of this dude in my gym all the time for having one, but I think you can pull it off. Like, it's a good look on you. I'd say trim it up a little bit, get a little sloppy. Maybe it's just a 5 o'clock shadow. I don't know, but no, I like it. It's all right.
Okay,
you can pull it off.
It's all right.
That's a good. All right. Dude, that's a win.
That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a solid win.
Take that and move on.
All right, Papa Link 90 hashtag ask Barrett. What Big Ten team outside of Ohio State has a shot at the playoffs?
Here we go, Barrett. Don't get this wrong.
Ohio State's second team? Does that count?
How dare
some pretty good wide
Purdue?
receivers there.
Maybe little Purdue, maybe Michigan State sneaks up
No.
on somebody. Is there any other teams in the Big Ten?
There are a couple others.
Wisconsin. Graham Mertz
They
figured
can run
it out.
the football. They've got like a 10th year starting quarterback.
They do.
Who has just been okay. But okay for Wisconsin generally does play well at quarterbacks. And, they're well coached defensively. So, and then the Big Ten West. I mean, I'm not buying Penn State. Sorry, Coney. I'm not buying Michigan. Michigan State, whatever. Mel Tucker.
Just don't say Iowa. Don't say Iowa.
No, I can't. I mean, Spencer Petras. I mean, let's be the bar for Iowa quarterbacks is a little different, not much different, but a little different than Wisconsin. So I'm going to probably say the Badgers. Plus, I mean, look, if you're talking about getting to the college football playoff, I think you probably have to go somebody from the West because getting to Indy is like the most important part of that equation because 60 good minutes is possible. Anybody can beat anybody, even Ohio State. So I'd probably say the Badgers.
Okay. One more, Blaine.
All right, Jack Daughtry, and he wants to know hashtag
Chris's brother?
It might be a hashtag Ask Crane and Co. He says, will Maryland ever be good at football again?
I mean, I'd like to say yes with certainty. I'm going to have to sort of question it yes, I'm Ron Burgundy, repeat the line, whichever, joke we're going with now. But I mean, I like Loxley. He can recruit. I think he can recruit well through the transfer portal. I think to win at Maryland, you basically have to own the DMV. And
for sure,
for Maryland to do that it's almost impossible right now. That is like a 6-7 year recruiting plan to establish yourself to a point where you don't lose DMV battles.
Yeah, the DMV is unbelievably rich in talent too. I mean, all the way up and down. But Barrett, we appreciate it, my friend. It's always great. Tell everybody where they can catch your fantastic content and work.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. CBSSports.com, CBS Sports HQ, streaming all day long on any single device, streaming TV device, whatever. And you can hear me and Tom Luganville doing stupid things on SiriusXM at plenty of times throughout the course of the season.
We love Lugs. I got to get him on the show here soon. But Barrett, I appreciate it, my friend. Chop on as usual.
Chop on. Later, boys.
All right, later.
Hey, Barrett.
Blaine, we got a couple minutes before we go to the sub break. Hit me with some booster questions.
Okay, I'm going to scroll it back a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning.
You're going to go back to the beginning?
Sometimes you go to the end, but you look back at the beginning and periodically go through certain things. They wanted to know how is this situation different from the Trevor Bauer situation?
Again, they basically excommunicated Trevor Bauer from anything ever. I don't even know if he can go outside anymore.
He at least said he punched her in the face or something.
Yes, but there were texts saying anyway, I'm not going to dive too far into that, but think about that. Think about that situation. Then think about Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson punched any girl in the face. Nobody's saying that. But 24 sexual misconduct?
It's a lot.
I mean, Rule D14, sudden death. What's going on, man?
Jonathan Herndon wants to know, could this have Goodell out the door?
I hope, but we can never be that lucky. Do commissioners ever get fired?
No.
I don't think so.
Did he suspend Robert Kraft?
Yeah, I think he's got to fire himself. I think that's the only way. And he's not doing that. The dude makes what, $40 million a year?
No, he makes 60.
To make horrible decisions?
61 or 60.
I'd do it for half.
I'll do it for a third.
Yeah.
Rick D says, hot take. Deshaun's punishment, super mid.
Oh, that's good.
Okay,
that's rich.
I love it. Question here from Mike, hashtag Ask Crane & Co. When does crime become the responsibility of law versus the NFL intervening?
I saw somebody on social media, somebody I really like, saying that, I feel like if there's not a law broken, leagues shouldn't get into it. And when I look at that situation, to me, I feel like it's not that black and white.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that black and white. I think the league is an organization, and they're free. They're a business. They're free to choose to do what they want to do, just like every other business. But I do feel like, if you had something, because then you have to say, all right, well, what is a felony? How many games is a felony? How many games is a misdemeanor? Where does it start and where does it stop? I do feel like there's things that correlate. And if you're a team that is relying on somebody to be, a guy in the locker room you can trust, a guy that's an organizational guy for you, and something happens off the field, there needs to be repercussions. Just like, if something happened with me off the studio, there'd be repercussions at my job. Like, that's just how the world works.
Yeah. Think about it like in terms of the company you work for. There's something that you can't do and still be able to keep your job, no matter if it's legal or illegal.
That's exactly right.
All right, Jay Jane wants to say, legit question here, guys. I'm glad it's legit. How's it not a violation that Saban and Prime can do Aflac commercials?
Because it's
Darby Lou runs the account. That's what it is.
Darby Lou.
Well-run account, man.
For sure.
There you go.
I don't think there's any problem with that, especially now that players can do it. But I never had a problem with it when coaches can do it. Again, it's part of it. And a lot of that stuff does go through the school as well. It's not just going through the agents. There's a lot of people it goes through. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm also, capitalistic.
All right, Jimbo Eagle. All right, he wanted this one from Barrett, but Barrett's gone, so we're going to ask it to y'all, too.
I'll pretend to be Barrett.
All right, John, and I appreciate Barrett's honest mustache take right there.
Yeah.
Does John Gruden now have a stronger case for a lawsuit against the NFL with the recent decisions on Deshaun Watson?
Better strike while the iron's hot, bud.
That's a good question.
Again, you basically blackball the guy for words. For words. And again, some of the stuff he said, not a good look. But Deshaun Watson gets 6 games. So if I'm John Gruden, it makes my argument that much stronger. I mean, and again, strike while the iron's hot. But speaking about while the iron's hot, if you want to watch the rest of the show, remember, we'll keep the audio here. Head over to the Daily Wire, become a member, or listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with your friends. It's August, which means football season's here. So if you aren't subscribed, wake up. We'll be right back. Fire's scary, but nothing's scarier than rapid fire. So, Cone, let's dance with the embers.
Boom. Deebo Samuel got paid. Didn't I write an intervention letter to this guy? And I said, don't panic. Okay, it's all going to work itself out. He requesting a trade. Why are you turning around over there, Blaine?
Look, I don't know. There was a guy who said Deebo would never play another snap of the 49ers, and they should find that guy and they should call him out on it.
Well, I gotta give credit to our buddy KJ Wright. Number one, happy retirement, my friend. Yes, great absolutely. Career. Can't wait to get you back on the show. Heck of a player in person. But KJ came on this show right when this started breaking that Deebo wanted out. Remember, he's dapping it up with Steph, whatever, stuff like that. Then went, I believe it was in Houston or something like that.
It was like the Mavs, the Warriors game or something.
But KJ was like, look, Deebo's not going anywhere. And I'll say this. It's great for Trey Lance, because however you can take the pressure off Trey Lance, especially early, because I don't believe in him. Blaine doesn't believe in him. I don't know how much you believe in him, but Trey Lance needs all the help he can get. Deebo can line up at running back, wide receiver, sell hot dogs at halftime, probably give you a tattoo. This guy is the ultimate playmaker, can help on special teams, takes a lot of pressure off Trey Lance. They had to get this done because you have to put weapons around this guy, because, again, I'm just super skeptical hippo about Trey Lance, Coney.
Yeah, 3 years, $71.6 million with $58.1 guaranteed.
It's a good time, Bob.
And I did hear the term wide back does include selling concessions as well. So you're
again, $71 million, I'm expecting a lot.
Look, you should got to pay quarterback money. That's what you should, because you're going to end up taking some snaps.
That's exact. The red zone?
End up taking
But I'll say this. Trey obviously is a dual threat guy. You've got to respect his legs. Having him and Deebo and being able to do the jet sweep and run those different actions, run those orbit motions and stuff like that, that puts so much pressure on a defense, especially in the red zone. You will see lanes open up in the quarterback run game because of what Deebo can do, which obviously is a way to help control Trey Lance early, and that's one of his strengths. Because, again, I don't think he's this elite thrower of the foosball.
All right, moving on. We have to get to the bottom of something here, because Josh Allen was involved in a little altercation in training camp, and I'm all about it, okay? So maybe we play this clip. I think you have some things to say.
Yeah, I do. Before we play the clip, I just want everybody to know I'm surrounded by offensive guys here, okay? And I have a problem. I have a problem with, I get it. Josh Allen, you're the guy. Quarterbacks in the NFL, I get it. You're wearing a different color jersey. Everybody knows. But he basically got a mini pick set by the defense tackle. I'm not just letting you waltz up the middle of the defense. It's basically a tag off. He just didn't use his hands. Let's play the clip. Let's play the clip. Look at the zero. All right, Josh Allen's in the gun. Everybody's excited.
Red jersey.
Sitting here, looks like it maybe doubles trips. I can't tell. Let's see. Going to get a little read action. He's going to go just a little bump. Just a little bump.
Can't do it.
Don't touch him.
There we
I'm
go.
going to tell y'all something.
Don't touch him.
I'm gonna tell y'all something.
Hey, remember I said short the Kyler Murray stock? Go long on this one. Go long on the Josh Allen stock.
Here's what I have a problem with. Number one, he barely even touched him. Now, if he'd have touched him in the knee, in the leg,
out of context,
done something, put his helmet into him.
Out of context, he barely touched him. In context, I'll tell you what, though, it's late in practice.
Yeah, can we stop it right when they make contact?
You already been chirping at each other a little bit. And Josh Allen, it's not a fight. Let's don't even call it a fight. They're setting the tone. Josh Allen is setting the tone.
But you know what? You know what? Nothing pisses me off more than you barely got bumped and the guy with the no contact jersey is going to start trying to fight everybody. That to me upsets me. You know what? That's like just you being a stunt guy but wearing a bubble suit and making fun of the other stunt guys. Because they're not wearing one. He barely touched him. I get it. He pulled off too. And he just looked at him. What? And then you shove him in the throat?
He didn't pull off. It's a tag off. You're in the NFL. It's a tag off. Tag him off. You tag him. You don't run up to him and lower your shoulder, then turn around and look at him. There's something behind this.
No.
It felt premeditated.
Oh, he looked at Josh.
They've been chirping all practice.
You don't touch him. Don't even look at him too long. He is the golden child, the golden goose, who's going to take us to a Super Bowl. You're not.
Oh, it's us already?
It's us?
It's us already?
Wow,
big Josh Allen guy.
Us already?
ABC.
First of all,
big Josh Allen guy.
I
picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
We're watching football clips, fellas, so that's a win in and of itself, okay? And speaking about football, reports out of Carolina are that Matt Corral's off to a hot start. Already running second-team reps.
I'm telling you, let this happen. I will be hell on here. I will be hell on that Twitter app. I will just walk around. We have an Ole Miss shirt that we got sent from our boy LFG Shirts. I'm going to drop in the studio later this week because I wanted to wait to see how Matty Ice was doing. I'm telling you guys right now, was the best quarterback in the draft, hands down. I screamed it from a mountain, from the Great Wall of China, from a waterfall, all the beautiful places across the world. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, Matt Corral, buy stock now. Carolina, get ready. Oh, boy's got a lot of dog in him. He's got a lot of moxie. He left Ole Miss, said, oh, my gosh, I could have went somewhere where I'd have been worked harder and worked push. That's fine. I'll win the job in fall camp. You can have Baker Mayfield. You can have Sam, the goofy giraffe Darnold. You can have the rest of those children. You give me the Golden Corral. You give me now, because it's going to be an all-you-can-score buffet when this kid gets out there.
He's winning the job.
No, I'm saying he's going to eventually be the quarterback for the Panthers.
Well, yeah, he's eventually going to be the quarterback for the Panthers. That's why they drafted.
So who's won? Who's won, Cone? Baker?
Right now, yes.
Baker, Matt Corral, Sam Darnold? You're running threes? Hey, Darnold, get out of town.
Do y'all think he starts a game this
year? Yes, because Baker's going to get hurt. He does it every year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Matt Corral is going to be a dog.
I don't think it's a sit here and it's a stretch to say that Matt Corral was, one of the best quarterbacks in the draft. I don't think.
Yeah.
No, the best.
Well, and he has some more.
The best quarterback. Yeah, I don't.
But I've been on this. I've been on this since day one. It's been A1 since day one.
Malik Willis.
No, I think
Kenny
could be a good pro.
I'm not saying they won't be good.
Look, Matt Corral still has a ways to go, especially as it relates to getting out of danger, right? Because he took a lot of hits. But the reason that he took those hits were not so much because he was. It wasn't. It's because he had that moxie, like you were talking about. Like it was his bravery almost that he was trying to put himself in harm's way, which you can't do in the NFL. I think he understands that, right? I just want to see it first. Because you're not going to go run over. You're not even going to run over safety.
No, and Matt knows that, and he's going to get told that in the quarterback room. Especially the better he keeps playing, obviously going to be like safer, stranger danger.
But that was such a big part of his game in college that I'm like, well, that will help make him good. Can he play that same way without putting himself in harm's way?
I think he can. I take more out of it, Cone, is he is athletic enough to extend plays outside of the pocket in the NFL. And we saw him make throws, whether it was the whole shots against cover two, whether it was verticals. He was putting balls in spots that, scientists still haven't figured out how he figured that out. So, and he's got the arm to do it. Like, Matt has a cannon. He's not a big guy either. The more he'll add a little bit of weight, get a little bit thicker, but he is just a quarterback. He is a thrower of the football. He speaks the language from the laces to the elbow to the shoulders, man. And you're born with that. It definitely ain't Maybelline.
A couple more here. Obviously, Bill Russell, the Celtics great, passed away at age 88, a champion at the highest level. Just want to get your thoughts on that.
One of the greats. We talk about championships. We talk about judging people by the championships they win. Well, Bill Russell's got all of it in a bucket full. And talk about a great life lived. I mean, 88 years old. The amount of lives that he touched in the era that he was to be able to do what he did. Again, these guys, it's so sad when you lose them because you don't get guys like that a lot, if at all. And Bill Russell, to me, was a consummate pro, consummate professional. And, regardless of what you thought about him, he spoke his mind. And he was the same way. I mean, throughout his whole career, and he was always himself. So Celtics legend, guy that's obviously the game's going to miss, but talk about leaving a mark, and he did it the right way.
Yeah. All right, so the Angels' Reed Detmers had an immaculate inning this past weekend. 3 straight strikeouts on 9 total pitches, the first player in 7 seasons with a no-hitter and an immaculate inning in the same season. It's the 109th immaculate inning in MLB history, which again furthers the question, why aren't the Angels better?
Well, again, listen, if we're talking about immaculate angels, I thought maybe you were talking about the Bible instead of baseball.
There was a movie about that.
There was.
Angels in the Outfield.
There was. Well,
is that a baseball movie?
They need a whole hell of a lot more than
according to Cole Kubelik, if anything else happens in the movie, then it's not a baseball movie.
It's not a baseball movie. It's great. It's cool. It's something that, again, but the Angels continue to not figure it out. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I know we're going to get into the trades. If they trade Shohei, they're nuts. They're nuts. You'll never win. You'll never win. And at this point, Mike Trout, now you see, has that back condition, which you hate. I feel like his career has been ruined out there. Not that he had a bad career. Dude won 3 MVPs. We all know he's a witch. But the Angels are just, they can't figure it out. They just can't. And now you have Shohei, who's the most high-profile thing to come out of Asia since Godzilla, and, you're going to get rid of him. So it just... the Angels are dysfunctional, and if I had a kid, I would not want him to go play for the Angels. I wouldn't want to do it.
I don't know. I don't know what you have to do to be better.
I don't either.
You got the players.
You got them.
You got them. Let's all get in a room. Let's really have a come to Jesus meeting and figure out what's going on.
Is it us?
Is it me? Is it us on the show? Should we just quit talking about it?
Who
Maybe
is
that's it? I don't know. I mean, you got Thor's kind of been a letdown this year.
He has been. He's going to be a bullpen guy.
Yeah, he's kind of been a letdown this year, but you just go through the lineup, guys. I don't know. There's only a certain amount of things you can tell a baseball player to do at that level. Like, it goes the same thing with almost NBA coaches. I mean, what are you going to tell LeBron James? What are you going to tell Giannis to get better? I mean, what are you going to tell these guys to get better? Hey, hands inside.
Well, to me, it's that they can't put the whole team together. They're like, all right, one year we're going to hit really well, but we aren't going to be able to pitch. The next year, we're not going to be able to pitch. We're not going to be able to hit, but we'll pitch really well. It's just they haven't been able to put the whole formula together. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We just figured out that they haven't been able to do that. And again, it's funny. You look at baseball, and we talked about this last week, and everybody talks about launch angle and home runs. Do you realize the highest home run total team in the league to win the World Series, I think last 20 years, was 9th? I feel like some organizations are going about this the wrong way. I think we've dove so far into launch angle and home runs that you forget what wins in baseball. Yeah. I see a butt now, and it's like seeing, the Loch Ness Monster. It's like, oh my God, it's real. Like, what is that? Which, by the way, I did see a clip the other day, which I put on social media. Dude got an inside fastball thrown at him that was thrown at him, and it didn't hit him. Next pitch, he bunts it down the first baseline, so the pitcher has to get up the mound, and he tackles the pitcher.
I saw that.
That's old school.
It was old. It was.
Oh yeah, it was old school.
Old school clip. Now we got into the point in baseball now where guys are cool with going 1-4 and hitting a tank.
Yeah,
that's okay now. Not just coming in there and having quality quabs, quality ABs. I just want to hit a home run. That's all it is. Those teams don't win the World Series.
I'll hit two.
The guys who can go right center on a 2-2 pitch, a slider outside corner, and can throw the hands and stay back. Those are the guys who win, who make the routine plays, who communication. We're in the dugout. Hey, We're grabbing asses. We're hitting high fives. Those are teams that win.
That's exactly right.
My buddy Alex talks about the same thing in basketball because he's a Heat fan. And, this Heat team from this past year, they were so team-oriented. He said it's all become about breaking ankles and about posterizing dunks. There's no more credit for playing team basketball.
Good bounce pass.
Exactly. I mean, where's the, you get no love for a good bounce pass anymore, but the same with baseball now. It's like those singles and those doubles are what keep innings alive. Whereas, you hit a home run and that's all well and good, but you've broken the momentum of the players who've come before you in the lineup.
And I agree with you. I just wonder at some point, did the people, the owners and the people look at the revenue and they're like, listen, winning the World Series is great, but if we got a guy that hits 50 home runs, we'll sell this. At what point does the revenue, I would love to see
that's a good question.
A revenue comparison, because part of me wonders if all these owners and people that are running the show, if they're really competitive and want to win, or if they just want to see how much money they can make and they really don't care about winning. Because I don't think it's all blanket one way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have 32 owners in one league. They're like, well, we all just want to be competitive, win. I think it's 18-14 or 20-12 or that. I would love to find out, which we never will, but which ones are really competitive and listen, I want to win. If we win, we'll sell tickets, whatever. We'll hit home runs every now and then. The other guys who are listen, let's be like the Savannah Bananas, and we'll have a 7-foot pitcher. It's like Colonel Tom Parker putting a team together. I just wonder the difference on that.
I feel like winning coincides with making money more often.
I would think that too, but I'm not looking at the analytics.
I'm not looking at the numbers either.
I've been surprised before.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Hey, that is true. Last one here. Did y'all catch Ric Flair's final match?
I did.
Nature Boy?
I did not. He won though, right?
Out, yeah.
Of course he did. What are they going to do?
Coming out, yeah, it was,
maybe.
I don't know. It was kind of cool, but at the same time.
Are you saying it's fixed?
Well, again, listen, if we're talking about
How dare you?
the Rolex wearing, jet flying, son of a gun.
Woo!
It's always a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, Rick, the man's survived death 8 times. He's basically the of Harry Potter, one of the 3, death, life, and what the other one was. I don't know.
You talking about the Dementors?
Something like that.
Hey!
Yeah.
Let's go, Cone.
Yes.
Let's go, Cone.
All right, that was a great show.
midair at the end of a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
New suits.
I love it.
Now, good for Ric Flair, though. Kind of his final hurrah. Speaking about one and onlys, man, you want to talk about guys had some fun? I bet Ric Flair's had a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, what's going on over there in the Club of Boosters?
Okay, serious. So we're getting pretty serious in here, guys.
Satellite radio?
Play bench cut. All right. Waffle House.
Whoa.
I love the way this is going.
IHOB.
IHOB with a B?
Yeah, IHOP is now IHOB.
Is it for real?
House of Bacon?
A House of Burgers.
What?
Y'all don't know this?
Wait, what are you hold on. What are you talking
Hold on.
about? IHOB.
We just watched that.
IHOB.
We just watched.
Is it still a thing?
No, I don't think it's a thing anymore. We just
I thought I
watched.
saw it the other day. They're changing signs and stuff.
Well, look, I watched
The
that.
stunt was just an attempt to let people know they had burgers and not just pancakes. It didn't take long
Come
for
on, I'm reading what's in the
IHOB
chat,
to go
guys.
back
Well,
to
that makes
IHOB.
Whatever you put in the chat, I'll read it.
Yeah.
It stayed that way for a blissful
lying.
year, which begs the question, how did I not know this for a year?
I'm not going to IHOP to eat burgers.
Okay, we'll go. Let's go IHOP. Since we're talking Waffle House,
Yeah.
IHOP, Denny's.
Look, you got to put the awful waffle number 1. I'm playing that
You
one.
know who's
You can
starting.
bench Denny's, and listen, IHOP can hop their ass out of this conversation because look, pancakes, the only ones I really like are my grandmother's because they're made with extra love and a griddle that's 400 years old. So I'm going to go the All-Star Special.
You're
from
starting the
Waffle House.
All-Star.
You have to go All-Star
Yeah.
Special. I'll pull
Starting
an
the
All-Star,
All-Star,
Riley.
man.
And then, go Denny's too. R.I.P. Shoney's. Are there any Shoney's out there left?
Man, Shoney's.
Grew up on Shoney's,
Golly, we
man.
used to
I don't
eat
know
there
if
in
I've
Golden
ever
Corral
eaten at
before
Shoney's.
games. You never had
Get out.
eaten at Shoney's?
You never eaten at Shoney's? Get out.
Guys, I probably avoided food poisoning.
I mean, you got to start Waffle House in that scenario.
Oh, Waffle.
You're starting the All-Star.
You're
Eggs over
You're
easy. Double orders, hash browns, well done.
Oh, come
Bark
on.
Fire Zone.
Bark Fire Zone. You talking about 1-5 Sky? 1-5 Sky Bark Fire Zone. Can it? Slow go scene.
You love it.
Double
Love
move.
to see it.
Break it down.
All right. Do we want to talk about the congressional baseball game? That was the other day. Any thoughts?
Didn't that the one lady flick off the?
Yeah. So apparently, this is what she said. So apparently, she said it was someone in the dugout who said something. That's why she did it. And then backtracked the day after and said some fan said it.
Yeah, you're a liar. You know what you did.
There always seems to be drama.
There always seems to be drama. And there was some serious drama a couple years ago with
Yeah.
Steve Scalise. Remember that? Just don't flick people off from the congressional. You know what? Next time you're getting up, I'm hitting you.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting hit.
You get beat like 8-0.
Yeah.
Be better at the game.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, we got a question here from Jonathan. He says, what do you think about Sonny DeShera's first game in the minors? Devin 21. What do y'all think about Sonny DeShera?
Yeah, Sonny D, all of a sudden, after one game, they moved him to fourth in the lineup. He's up in Huntsville. And I'm telling you, the kid can hit. He doesn't look like your prototypical. And now you got a DH in both leagues? I mean, no boy's not going to get paid to be out there. You got to be fast, trot around the bases, buddy. That ball goes over that fence. Sonny D, pure hitter. He's like that 12-year-old kid in travel ball that's a little bit heavier than everybody else. Heavy kids can hit. It's the truth.
And he was at Auburn?
Yes.
And he transferred in.
Transferred from Arizona State.
Oh.
Yep. All right.
Okay, Jonathan Herndon want to know, I got food poisoning from Shoney's 3 years ago. You're lucky, Blaine.
Prove it.
I just don't even trust the name.
Shoney's? What's wrong with Shoney's?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. It sounds like a place I want to go eat.
But
Hey,
Denny's, is it that different than Denny's?
We go to Shoney's.
Denny's. I don't trust Denny's either. You can't trust a Denny's. Come on, dude.
What do you
can't trust a Denny's. I mean, I trust Waffle House.
So you will just trust
I don't trust IHOP, to be honest. I don't trust IHOP to be honest.
We're taking you to Shoney's this week.
I'm not going.
You're going.
Like, I'll never go to a Hardee's again. And I was a big Hardee's guy.
Hold on.
Baseball tournament, went there in the morning, got a good chicken biscuit. The next 3 days, where's Blaine? He's dying in the bathroom.
Can we get a crew together to film Blaine's first Shoney's experience?
Yeah, first off, we're going to Shoney's, and if you ever disrespect the Hardee's chicken biscuit,
it just sounds.
You were sick. The biscuit wasn't messed up. You were sick. You did.
Sounds below me.
Speaking about you doing something, I think it's time you go over there and give the king speech. Congratulations! If you didn't know, Blaine had a great month after coming back from a catastrophic month that one critic described as horrific and terrible. But he came back this month with the units, was 44-18, PARTY, because I gotta. So get that podium set over there, and let's see what
made this.
Oh, paper airplane.
That's my paper airplane from
Wow,
last
that's
night.
actually
nice
a pretty
hands,
good
kid.
throw.
All right, Cone, hit my sound, please.
You know
Which one do you want?
You know which one it is.
Hold on. Here we go.
Nope. Close. I'll let you figure it out over there. I'll let you figure it out.
Which one? Do you want this
I'd like
one?
to thank Daily Wire.
Yeah.
I would like to thank God, and I'd like to thank myself.
God, what a great sound. First of all, Jake and David, I know you fought hard this month.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Fought hard this month, and I expect nothing but a big turnaround for you guys next month, especially when we get closer to football season. The first thing I want to start off and say is, I could have done this by myself, and I'm going to give it all back here. All right, I'm going to give it all back to the Booster Club. We're in this together. We're a team, and, when I make my bets, now I'm not thinking about, this pitcher here, this pitcher here. I'm thinking about, what would the Booster Club do? Does the Booster Club like this? Because at the end of the day, guys, I'm the man of the people. No, that's what I am. I've been that since day one. That's why I'm in the chat. You okay over there?
Well, I'm just the amount of propaganda you're spewing just gives me a
can't even get a speech out. Does that sound like a man of the people to you?
Here we go.
Not really. When I come back to last month and just the disaster that it was, a lot of people are talking. Is Blaine on the hot seat? It's replacement Cone of getting Blaine's job now. The thing about it is like when fear and questions and doubt creep into people's minds, that's when you got to stand up strong. And that's what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and whip this cigar out right here. I don't know even how this got here. I'm going to put it in my mouth. Yeah. Mike, congrats on the kid. Hey, guys. Good luck to y'all next month. And I've decided I have my new segment. This ain't it. Cone, Cone, get off my lawn. My new segment is going to be coming up here after I win.
Okay. Well, can your second segment be not smoking the cigar that
it's not lit
this morning?
It's not lit.
Well, you just got your saliva all over it.
It's mine. My cigar.
Good month.
All right. Time's up.
Yeah, time's up. It's okay. Kill him. Good job, though. Seriously, it was a good time.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, great job.
Anyways, I'm going
to do the bets today, too?
No, you don't. You're going to... You've done enough. You've done enough.
Okay.
Thank you. Where's the broom?
Booster Club.
Like we do at the Apollo.
This is for you.
All right. So here's what we got. Hey, look. I'm proud of you, dog.
Hey.
Much love.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well,
You like that?
yeah, I do. I love it.
How you like them apples?
I love it. If you can't see it and you're just on audio, I tried to shake Blaine's hand. You know, the quote, man of the people. But we all know he's really not a man of the people. He's a man of the person.
You know who says that?
So,
Guy who's not.
here's what we got today. Have you ever seen a human being take a Nerfy every 2 bets for a whole month? Well, you're about to. Here's what we got. Give me the Mets, Nats, Nerfy minus 124. You got cat eyes on the mound, Scherzer. Got to feel good about it. Even though he's on the road, he embraces the darkness. And then give me the Reds, Marlins Nerfy at minus 114. Look, you got Hunter Green. He's hunting strikeouts. We'll see how it goes on the Marlins side. Let's just get to the first. A lot of runs in the second. A lot of runs in the third. Let's just get past the first. If I start off 2-0 this month, I'm telling you guys all right now, you're in big trouble. Don't let me start off 2-0.
So you're already running away.
No.
Already running
No.
away. Hey, congrats on the
Those are
win,
gonna
Jay.
hit.
Congrats on the win this month.
Go ahead and give your speech.
Go ahead.
Let's get your speech.
Yes.
Let's get your speech.
Mustaches
going
are for losers. All right, anyway, no, go ahead.
You know, the most impressive part about you going from worst to first was that you started the streak exactly on the first of the month.
That wasn't
You know, you turned it around. Well, today's the first. So I feel like I have to carry that torch now
13-3
and just
week
really
one.
get hot here,
Yeah.
you know, and go on a streak. So let's start with Max Scherzer picking up a win.
Cat eye.
Yeah.
Picking up a win at minus 125 for the Mets. I like it. And then I want in the John Millman and Hernandez tennis match at ATP Los Cabos, I want the under 19.5 games at minus 185.
Look
Let's
at
start
you
hot.
Going in your tennis bag.
Start hot.
All right. Last month's champ. This month's who knows?
Yep. Hey,
Number one, how's that cigar taste?
Tastes great.
Oh, great. What are your bets for today?
I'm taking Rockies, White Sox. Let's go. I'm going Nerfy, guys. I mean,
A little dog bet
I'm going
here?
Nerfies. The only bet I went 0-2 last month with Kyle Schwarber when he screwed everything.
And that's the one you would have thought would have hit the most.
He
Albert
lose to
Pujols.
Albert Pujols.
Yeah, it was
like he
200
got there in a wheelchair.
30 years old. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm taking that Nerfy plus 110. Then, hey, Dodgers, Giants, late game. Weather might not be great. Give me the Nerfy. I believe that's minus 110. Start out hot. Don't let me go 2-0. Don't let me win back-to-back months. So I'm walking in here with mink on.
Please. Please, dear Lord, don't let him win back-to-back months. I don't care who wins it, just not him. Anyway, Baby Cone. Andy Murray, under 22.5 games in his match at minus 135. Then Houston, money line. The Astros at minus 180. Baby Cone, 79-52 overall. He's crawling towards success at a really fast rate there, David.
Yeah.
I know you're a very proud poppy.
Yeah, I am.
All right.
Someone's got to stay hot.
Read these Booster Club bets. Wildcat Cubs fans, 5-0. He wants to take the Nats first 5, minus a half. Zachary W. Jerome's 5-0. Mets first 5 on the run line. It's minus 162. Katie Rose, 1191. She's 4-0. Excuse me. She wants Luis Garcia to not record the win versus the Red Sox. Interesting. Minus 190. Cam Fran's 4-0. Wants Reds, Marlins, Nerfy. Bet buds. Together we can. Blaine's mustache is 3-0. Who'd have thought? He wants the Mets first 5. This is minus 160. No Pain, no Cranes, 3-0. Dodgers plus 2.5. And Mookie Betts has to get a hit. Total odds, that's minus 160? Wow. Dangerous, man. B-Samp, 28. Yankees money line. Private Chonky's 2-0. Yankees money line. B. Sarasio, the Scottish Travelers, 1-0. He wants the Mets, Nats, Nerfy. Together, let's do it together as friends. Minus 135. And then Theo Dictator. That is how you say that. Is 0-3, which should happen to dictators. And he wants the Astros under 8 runs for Astros and Red Sox. Blaine, Booster Club, now do it.
All right, Jimbo Eagle. Hashtag question for Crane and Cone. Are you guys determined to make Ben Shapiro the most passionate Vanderbilt fan in America?
There's only one man that can save Vanderbilt, not named James Franklin. And he's just got back from Israel, and his name's Ben Shapiro. We will make Ben Shapiro the biggest college football fan on the planet, and he will be rooting for the fighting Vanderbilt Commodore.
Anchor down.
Anchor down. Travis Elrod, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. What is the most crushing defeat you have ever had as a fan?
Oh, as a fan, I'm going to be honest with you. 2013,
Michigan
Auburn,
State?
Florida State. Auburn blew it to win the Natty. Would have won
On the punt?
2 in 3 years.
Yeah.
That one hurt me a lot. There may have been some things said and possibly some things thrown.
Yeah, the Michigan loss to Michigan State on the punt return. That was bad. I had people already texting me congratulations on the win. You know,
Dude,
luckily I didn't respond, so I didn't blow it. They did.
I've
You
seen a
know?
lot of teams blow it.
I actually
They really-
saw someone shared something today on that. It said something like, I met this cute girl, and she said she was a Michigan fan, so I told her to add me on Snapchat, and she said, I don't know how to get down this. I don't know how to figure out the snap. It was Michigan State. Yeah.
Those are the ones. Those are the ones.
Propaganda. Talk about propaganda.
Yeah, those are the ones that really hurt. But speaking about something that doesn't hurt, it's when we go to our top play of the day, and it happens to feanture the Braves winning in walk-off fashion. Austin Riley, also known as the best hitter in the month of July, and Alex Anthopoulos, the great witch of them all, deciding to keep him and pay this man. Run the clip. It's 0-0 in the bottom of the ninth. Runner on first. Batter up. It's a deep drive to right center. That ball, you see how he stayed pure through the middle of the zone? Got a good feeling he's going to score. Great play off the wall. Throw in. Matt Olson, run faster. This shouldn't even have been that close. And the Braves won.
Out there on the bases.
Yeah, Matt Olson's running like he's dragging a piano. Look, I'm telling you right now. We talk about the trade deadline, Braves. Look, bring in DeGrom. I'm good with it. You want to bring in Carlos Rodon, whoever? I would love to see it. Don't touch it too much. But I'll tell you this. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. You know, I'm starting to think you won a World Series without Acuna. It's not having that great of a year, and you got Michael Harris is balling. Is Acuna going to be some of the most powerful trade bait here in a couple of years for the Braves?
Man, I don't think so. I mean, you know what was beautiful about last year's team that Alex Anthopoulos put together was someone else stepped up when they needed him most, right? And even with Acuna down, I feel like a couple bats are going to go cold. Austin Riley's going to go cold in the playoff, and it's going to be Acuna who comes up big with a home run.
Well,
double off the wall.
I think y'all should trade him.
Yeah, to who? Well, the Yankees.
And get what? Again, any trade.
By the way, Soto, right now, bets on where Soto ends up. Where
Dodgers.
I mean, it's always Dodgers until it's not, but I'm going to go Padres. Just because the Dodgers, where would he even play? Like, at this point, you'd be coming off the bench at the Dodgers at some point.
Yeah, well, look, to me, again, it's either the Dodgers or Yankees until it's not, like you guys just said.
It's like Bama and Georgia.
Yeah, it's exactly right. That's typically how it works.
Once in a while.
You know, Juan Soto.
Arch Manning goes to Texas.
Yeah, every once in a while.
We'll see if that helps.
I kind of feel Padres. I really kind of feel the Padres. I don't want them going to the Dodgers. I'm sick of dealing with these guys, man. They keep adding players, and that's fine. You want to know why? Because we have the architect, Alex Anthopoulos. He's over there just like studying animals to figure out like how good, you know, it's just a real.
The Padres did just get Hader.
I know. The Brewers traded him, which Josh is out there throwing frisbees. But the Soto sweepstakes, going to be really interesting. Will the Angels move Shohei? How you could trade Shohei and keep Mike Trout? Again, the numbers aren't adding up. The cumulus nimbus clouds aren't shining upon me the way they should in that situation. I don't get it, especially as a two-way player. It's like trading two people, but that's just me. Anything? Parting thoughts, Blaine?
Hey, it's that big month this month, boys.
Hey, shout out to our boy Michael Knowles.
Yeah, congrats.
Yes.
Having another baby boy.
Yep, number 2. Man, I bet that cigar would have been great. I hope you really enjoy that. But no, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you're subscribed to everywhere. Got some more great stuff this week. Some more big-time guests. Shout out to Barrett Sallee. Go check him out on Sirius over there. And shout out our buddy Tom Luganville. We need to get Tom on this week. Reach out to Tom. Yeah, him and Tom Brady. 2 Toms I know. But we appreciate you guys. And like the chances of me going undefeated this month, we're gone.